Be sure to subscribe for more content.
What is up, ladies and gents? Welcome to the BigBC Finance Channel, and I hope you're having a very lovely day today. So in today's video, we're going to be talking all about Dogecoin, what has happened to it recently, and where we predict the price to go to in the near future, as well as a long-term pattern that I'm seeing here on Dogecoin, which is pretty exciting if you hold Dogecoin, if you're bullish on Dogecoin. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. And of course, if you appreciate the daily analysis on this channel, and you're one of the 86% of people that watch my videos that have not yet subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button. So without further ado, let's get the annotations back on Dogecoin and let's talk about what is happening. And so we'll start off with what has happened and the short-term price prediction first here on Dogecoin, and then we'll go to the longer-term pattern that I'm seeing later on in this video. So we have this line of support here on Dogecoin that's kind of supported the price over the past 2 weeks. We have this line of resistance on Dogecoin, which has kind of held the price of Dogecoin down over the past week or so. And because they're both facing in different directions, one pointing downwards, one pointing upwards, what we see here is some sort of triangle pattern here on Dogecoin. And of course, unfortunately to say, it looks like we have starting to come underneath this bottom support down here. So the price has literally broken through the support on Dogecoin that's been kind of holding the price up now for over the past week. So it looks like that. And of course, my first observation here is we did increase in volume as the price did start to come underneath. We see those large red volume bars down there. We see an increase in momentum, so large red candles, as I said. And of course, we've seen this triangle pattern over the course of the past week here. So it looks like if Dogecoin is to respect this triangle, and guys, that's still a massive if. We always have to remember that sometimes chart patterns do not get respected, but if they do, then the price comes down to this level here at 6.9 cents. Now this would be the result of this triangle playing out, and the price is continuing to respect the triangle in the downwards direction like this. So we could see something that eventually takes the price of Dogecoin back down to 6.9 cents, which is about the same level that Dogecoin got to upon the FTX fallout there. So of course, very bearish stuff, but we're going to have a look in a bit more detail about this triangle first and foremost, because of course, when considering chart patterns, we also want to see if the alternative is viable. So at the moment, we can draw a trend line that kind of looks like this as well. So if we still bear this trend line in mind, but we just move it down a little bit, you can see that again, it does connect the lows pretty well here on Dogecoin. So we can still see that the price comes to touch it the first time on that FTX low there. We got one more test in this region here. We've got several tests again on this low, this support line here, and then the final test in this region here. So it looks like we still got a fairly reliable support at this level now. Now for this to be the case, the price needs to not fall below this orange line here. So 8 cents here on Dogecoin should be the absolute minimum if we're still consolidating within this triangle. So what we want to see, if we're not going to follow that previous triangle, is the price to continue bouncing like this. And of course, if we do that, then we'll be watching for another breakout of this new triangle that I have drawn here. And of course, if we do break below this 8 cents level, then the price target should remain exactly the same, in the sense that if we see a large breakout below this 8 cents line, then the price target does become around 6.9 cents here on Dogecoin. By the same virtue, if we do see this triangle, but we see the price break above this resistance that we have here, so the price does something like this, for example, where we continue to bounce back up and then head above this orange line as the resistance up here, and we continue with increase in volume and momentum, then of course 10.5 cents would be the price target here on Dogecoin. So that's my observation initially. If we have a look at our indicators, just to bring up the RSI to begin with, the RSI unfortunately does support the fact that we've seen a break below the triangle. So it supports the fact that we've seen something like this, and this is because if we have a look on the RSI here, we can kind of draw a trend line. So look at the time frames of this trend line. We can draw a trend line from where the trend line on the price starts up here, and then kind of connect the lows on the RSI like this. So let me put this in a different color. Let's make that orange again. And if you have a look at the RSI, we can actually draw a trend line to connect the lows of the RSI, just like we can with the price. So if I take your attention to this orange line here, and we just use that as our support once again, the RSI over the same time frame has supported the RSI data. Literally every time the RSI has come down to this trend line in orange, it has bounced back up. But what we see on the RSI is a clear break from below the RSI there. So of course we had this orange trend line and the price broke below it. At the same time, the price broke below the support on the price here. So this RSI data actually supports this triangle formation and a breakout to the downside. and in which case we should see a price target of around 7 cents. Now if we have a look at the MACD as well, so we've got the MACD here, and the MACD is a little less clear in what it's telling us. Of course on the price again we've got that same trend line, but if we have a look on the MACD, the momentum down here was very large, and we can't really draw a meaningful trend line in the same way that we could with the RSI. The closest thing I would probably say with the MACD is something that looked like this. So again, MACD is a lot less clear, but if we connect the trend line like this, again we do see the MACD line kind of breaking below this orange line if we connect it this way. So a weak confirmation here on the MACD, by no means a reliable one on itself, but the RSI is pretty convincing to me that we have seen a breakdown below this triangle. So again, we should meet 7 cents here on Dogecoin. And additionally, looking at the 100-hour moving average, the price came just a little bit above it, but then went straight back down. And that's that blue line we're referring to. Of course, a dynamic support and resistance, and basically an indicator as to whether we're in a bullish or bearish trend. And right now, we came up to test it in this area, peaked above, and now we are very far down. So of course, it looks like we could be starting on a new bullish trend according to the moving averages. Now, having a look at what Bitcoin is doing, because if Bitcoin makes a major move, we should see that in altcoins as well. Bitcoin was following a very similar triangle in my opinion, and it looks like we have again broken down from a triangle here on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin did see an increase in volume, and we saw some red candles take the prices lower on Bitcoin, but we're hovering in this area right now, showing us that there's a lot of buyer support still in this area. Of course, we're still in this trading range here on Bitcoin, and if we do see the price target play out on Bitcoin, we should see quite a low target, which I think is going to be this, and it's going to be this region here in $15,800. So that's if we do break down below this triangle, we should see that as our price target. Again, if I show you the RSI on Bitcoin, a very similar story with the trend line break. Have a look at that. The prices slip below the support on Bitcoin. At the same time, the RSI line breaks below this trend line here. So, that's a confirmation that we should be seeing this triangle heading lower down to around the 15,800 mark. Now it looks like we're going to encounter a lot of resistance because we're still in this trading range. So, for this to be confirmed, I want to see the price of Bitcoin break below 16,300, which is the bottom of this trading range. And if we can break below that, then we should meet our price target there on Bitcoin at 15,800. And of course, for Dogecoin, that probably means that we're going to be heading down to 7 cents. Now, this is where my longer term price prediction comes in, because I'm seeing some sort of pattern occur across cryptocurrency with a longer term pattern that looks like this. So basically, if the prices do head down to the 7 cents region, like this, for example, over the course of a few days, of course, if nothing happens in the cryptocurrency markets and everything just stays the way it is, I do think the prices are going to do something like this. And if we get down to this region here, so I'm looking particularly at this one here at 7 cents ish on Dogecoin, so exactly the price target from that triangle there. If we get down to this region and we bounce back up, then we could potentially be seeing is some sort of double bottom. Now this is a longer term pattern. It's spanned over 2 weeks, and this pattern is defined by an area where the price bottoms out at a similar level 2 separate occasions. So we've got one occasion already over here after the FTX drama, and the second occasion here if the price gets down to it. And what we want to see is a bounce, so the price is starting to head in an upwards direction. And thirdly, we have this neckline here. So the neckline is the high of the price between the first bottom and the second bottom. So something like this, for example. And so this pattern that I'll be looking for is if the price does complete that triangle, gets down to this 7 cents and bounces back up, makes it to this 9.3, 9.4 cents level, which is entirely possible. And we continue going upwards in this with momentum and volume. So the momentum and volume increases as we go past that neckline. Then we could see a very nice big pump here on Dogecoin that takes the prices even higher. And of course, if that pattern does indeed play out, that will get us to 12.7 cents. Now, of course, the precursor for this pattern is that we get down to 7 cents. So that has to be completed. We have to see the prices go up to 9.3, 9.4 cents on Dogecoin, exactly where this orange line is here, this neckline. And if we continue going past it with momentum and volume, then that's when this pattern is in play, this double bottom pattern that should take Dogecoin to 12.5 cents. So this is something I'm monitoring on the longer term. The other thing I wanted to say as well, if we continue going down and this ends up not holding the 7 cents region, then we have a really good buy region in this area here. So this green line, which I've been observing here on Dogecoin. If we just go out onto the day chart, which I rarely do on this channel, I don't really talk about the longer time frames, but on this occasion I want to show you guys because it could be a very nice opportunity. And basically what we have here is a green line that just kind of connects the lows of the Dogecoin price. So since basically the start of 2021 here, when we did that initial rally, it's been supporting the Dogecoin price up. And what I basically noticed is that every time the price touches this green line, so we've got the first instance in this area here, every time we touch this green line, the price skyrockets up. So in this occasion, Dogecoin literally pumped nearly 200%, and you'll see this as a recurring theme on Dogecoin as well. So if we go ahead in time and we got the 3 arrows capital fallout in this region here, basically after Dogecoin touches this green line here, we get a pump here of nearly 60%. Of course, if you sold it at the very top in mid-August, that's 80% from when we touched this green line. And again, we've come down to touch this green line in this region here, so we know it's a respected support. And again, price pumps not this much this time, but still a pump nonetheless. And again, just before Elon Musk buys Twitter, the price of Dogecoin touches this green line, and of course this pump here was about 200%. Once again, let me double check, 174% from touching the green line. So although the price at the moment is quite a bit away from it, if we do continue to see the prices falling, as sad as it is, it does present itself with some opportunities. And those opportunities, like I say, the first one is that double bottom formation. If the price bottoms out at 7 cents here, but if Dogecoin does continue to fall and it does something like this, for example, and we see the price kind of hover over this green region, this green line here, so 6.2-ish cents, then what we could see is the price pump back up from that level once again. So this is something I'm looking at the longer time frames. Of course, if you have a look at the bar down here, you can see that from my illustration, that would look like this would probably happen in December rather than in November. So those are the kind of time frames we're talking about. So not short-term stuff here, but something I'm definitely observing. If we get close to 6 cents on Dogecoin, this is the main thing I'll be looking for, because we do not want to miss these trading opportunities going into the future. So this is really what I'm looking for on Dogecoin. Of course, I'm checking what the whole cryptocurrency market is doing. I don't think we've hit the bottom for Bitcoin yet, but I do not think we're very far off either, in my honest opinion. I think we've got some ways of way to go down a little bit, but I do think eventually we're going to start seeing a recovery over the coming months. And I say that just because, you know, if we look back in 2018, 2019, you can see that Bitcoin went down sharp as the final capitulation event. And what we did was a slow but sure recovery into 2019. Now, of course, I know the macroeconomic conditions are a little bit different, but I do think this drop here bears quite some similar resemblances to that drop we had back there as well. And of course, historically, Bitcoin price has gone up ahead of the Bitcoin halving event. So at some point I do see some sort of drop, but a slow and steady grind back up on Bitcoin. And of course, what that does mean for, and what this means for Dogecoin could translate into something that I've just drawn here, where the price goes down back to this 6 cents level as Bitcoin makes new lows for 2022. And as soon as Bitcoin starts to recover, we could see Dogecoin starting to pump off this green line in the upwards direction. So that's kind of what I wanted to point out. And that's pretty much all I have to say on Dogecoin. So very quick summary, I do think we are seeing a triangle here, and I do think we've seen a breakout to the downside of it. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get to 7 cents on Dogecoin. I don't have a time frame, but could be over the coming hours, or it could be over the coming days. And longer term, I'm looking at this double bottom pattern. If we hold the 7 cents level and bounce back up, or if we don't hold that level, then I'll be looking at this longer term play where price of Dogecoin gets to 6.2, 6.1 cents, hovers around this green line for a bit, and I'll be trading there. And of course, if I do make any trades, I will update my trading view, so be sure to follow me on there. The link is in the description below. But otherwise, guys, that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching this video. Do smash the like button if you haven't done so already, and do give me a subscribe if you like this content. But otherwise, I'll see you in my next video.